sincerely to always keep these episodes based around something current in heavy metal, whether it be the most obvious, new music, or just recent happenings, whatever. But this question came to mind, and I wanted to turn it over to you, some of which I'm at the point where, like, a lot feel like legitimate friends now, so please do weigh in on this if you like, and strangers too. The question is heavy metal good or helpful for overall mental health? And let's broaden that a little, because for as highly discussed as mental health is these days, some of us hear those words and are like, pass. So yeah, let's add, is it good for the human spirit? Look man, I know problems range in size and severity and length of time, but regardless of who you are, I think they're pretty universal. And for example, I look back at various periods of my own life where things were shit, and I'm like, musically, what got me through? Who were some of the bands and albums and songs that kept me going? Time out real quick so it doesn't sound like I'm trying to focus on just me. Replace me as the example with you, or maybe people you know. As is a fact of life, everybody's different. So when faced with adversity, the way people approach it obviously varies from person to person. And that approach, that game plan, depending on the shit level or how long it lasts, may even degrade. Yeah, you may have one of the most optimistic, glass half full badasses ready to take on whatever comes at them, but along the way, when that dragon ain't completely slain yet, outlooks can shift, and usually it's for the worse. So that's where it gets interesting, because it calls into question, what effect does or can metal have when stuff ain't good? Or imagine everything's going fine. Good times, easy times, strong times, whatever. Is it possible to fuck it all up by overdosing on tons of death doom? I'd imagine the answer to that question is going to vary wildly too, because once again, it probably goes back to just the overall type of person that's in the driver's seat. I'll admit, and I wish so badly this wasn't the case, I'm personally very easily affected by music. Maybe you too. Great example, one time when shit was bad and I had this like 2-hour drive ahead of me, I get in the car, and to match my mood, I put on Black Aria 2, Glenn Danzig solo that was just out at the time. So that gives you an idea as to where this was in the calendar, later 2006. And like, it was just too low. I needed to snap out of it with something that would break my bad composure. Bam! Unleash the Bastards, almighty thrash metal maniacs of the new school, Municipal Waste, Hazardous Mutation album. Which, speaking of Unleash the Bastards, What's Up Suicidal Grind, my boy in Sweden. Love you, man. Talking about songs with drum solos in them, the intro at least. But that did it. I mean, at that moment, the focus wasn't on doom and gloom. It was on fucking like skanking and moshing, you know? Happier stuff. But it's not like there's any kind of uplifting sort of message or something in Unleash the Bastards, or Terror Shark, or Born to Party. Yet, it was the, so to speak, cocaine I needed in that moment. So hell, there's another variable. Am I wrong? Can something like Death Doom serve you well after all? Can Gore Grind do the same thing? What's up, Ted from SAPROGENOUS? Deranged, brutal Gore Grind from Kansas. He and all his grind crew out there. I'm gonna say it can, maybe. Yeah, maybe not Primitive Man or Severed Survival, Autopsy, or Grief or something, but tell me if you're on a My Dying Bride trip, will Phobia or Cephalic Carnage not at least rock you a little? Yes, I know neither Phobia nor Cephalic are gore, for all you wizards out there, but you know what I'm saying. Now, up to this point I've been spewing about interruptive music, let's call it. What about stuff that not only directly addresses the bad shit, so you know you ain't alone, but also maybe encourages you to overcome it? I know there are many bands out there that do this. Hell, within hardcore there was an entire subgenre dedicated to it. Posse, bands like Good Clean Fun, In My Eyes, Youth of Today, few biggies. However, certainly only in my opinion, though I'm confident many may agree, there is not another band that have earned their masters many times over in both confrontation of the serious shit, along with what I consider a practical guide as to how to overcome it all, or at least the encouragement to try. Truly the Tony Robbins of hardcore, Hatebreed, man. Front to back perseverance, front to back rise of brutality, supremacy, almost all upward to today. I'll say this, man, Hatebreed's coming around my neck of the woods next month, and I plan to go. Perhaps, if it's in the stars, and I'm trying, I'd love to be able to interview Jamey and ask him how it feels to know that through his music, through his lyrics, he's very likely helped bring some people off that ledge and pushed them to the threshold. So yeah, man, just listen for yourself, and I bet you'll see what I mean. But I just think it's truly in the eye of the beholder, because take another band as an example. Here's one I profiled a few months back, talking about two bands I probably wouldn't be okay with my kids listening to before they were 18 if I had any. I don't. And holy shit, did some of their fans, for which I am too, come at me with claws out. Despite there not even being a single trace of shit talk taking place, it was merely an acknowledging of how clearly worded their lyrics are, and as a result, the potential effect it could have on young minds. I'm talking about Blood for Blood. But those defenders of Blood for Blood, first off, unfortunately, I think their comments were purely reactionary to the simple fact that I said Blood probably isn't one of the best bands for young, impressionable minds. Because when they were bitching, that told me they might not actually watch the video to see that I wasn't slagging the band. But what was common in their responses was how, despite Blood's extremely nihilistic lyrics, they took them as help or possibly therapy, and in turn, there were comments like, Rob's lyrics got me off drugs, or Rob's lyrics made me feel like I wasn't alone. Now, I've loved Blood for years, but I remembered when I first got into them, their songs painted a very dark, depressing picture to me about the world. And even though their music was awesome, my attitude at the time was very much like, fuck this a lot. So there's once again a fine case of heavy music's effect being different from person to person. And my view on that is, hey man, even if it's ugly, whatever it is in music, if it's gonna help you through some turbulence, then by all means, crank it loud. What about party music or hair? Let's say you got a steady diet of Steel Panther, Bang Tango, Britny Fox, Cinderella, Vincent Invasion, which all fucking rule, by the way. Are you gonna possibly normally be in a better mood, arguably, than say if your diet was like Straight Nails or Ass Suck or Converge? Or with the fact that the hair bands are constantly telling stories of all kinds of fun and decadence be a reminder that you ain't doing the same? So despite the riffs being catchy, would the lyrics bum you out? Or switch the genre, go back to the party thrash and crossover. TANKARD, S.O.D, D.R.I, Municipal Waste. Same thing. Awesome, fun riffs, fun lyrics, but I think it can go either way. One, it could put you in a better mood, or two, it could equally be depressing if you got nobody to sling beers or mosh with, because maybe you can't afford the ticket to the show, or you live in East Bumfuck with only 50 people where it's cold and dark all the time, and ain't none of those bands are interested in playing your town. That could be a drain on the spirit, I'd say. I don't know, man, I just don't know, which is why I thought I'd hand it over to the jury, you, because I don't think there's a definitive answer. So all I can conclude is it depends on the person. I will say this though, I've always found it interesting when some people report really what I'd call depressing sounding music indeed getting them through stuff. Because although I think COLDWORLD and XASTHUR's music's definitely badass, bands like that, I can't say I find their music as a source of inspiration for better times, you know? No matter what, however, I always root for the metalhead, or just a person, period. Yeah, we may see one thing as green when it's actually blue, but regardless, I never wish for anybody to want to be like, later, you know? But hey, like I always say, and I really mean it in this instance, when it comes to music, the hell do I know? Okay, metalheads, if you got nothing better to do, let me know your thoughts on this subject. And if you did like this video, cool, maybe you can give it a thumbs up. Or if you just like hearing somebody bullshit about heavy metal, then mosh your ass right into that subscribe button. And we'll see you next time on Concrete Spew, but until then, stay wild, my friends.